Hey, me lords and ladies, my name is Bruce Cruger and I'm the official town crier of Bracebridge, Ontario. I'm also a retired detective inspector with the Ontario Provincial Police. In 1977, as a young officer, I was forced to shoot and kill an escaped convict who was about to shoot a young police officer with a sawed-off shotgun. The following year, I found a friend of mine, an OPP officer, murdered on duty. My life spiraled out of control, and by 1984, I knew that I needed serious help. I turned to the OPP for their peer support program, only to be warned that it wasn't confidential, and if I ever wanted to be promoted, don't come back and see them. I never opened my mouth until I retired in 1999. By 2002, I was in big trouble, and I therefore returned to the OPP and WSIB for assistance. I was turned down completely. As a result, I had to seek my own medical care. But however, because of the stigma, I was terrified to say anything in case it got out in the community. But by 2009, when we opened up a second Swiss Chalet and Harvey's restaurants that I'm the franchisee of, and by the way, I advertise when I can, but however, I relapsed terribly and I really required assistance. Once again, I turned to the OPP and WSIB only to be turned down. The Canadian Armed Forces took me under their wing and had me hospitalized for 2 months, and I continued on through their assistance for a couple of years, and I also returned, and I now continue with post-traumatic stress disorder psychiatric care on a monthly basis in Toronto. But having said all that, I didn't think OPP or anybody should be treated in such a horrific way by these two agencies, and therefore I complained to the Ontario Ombudsman that something has to be done. He said, Bruce, I won't investigate it if it's only about you, but if you can show that this is a systemic problem, then I will investigate it. I then set out and was able to show that 77 OPP officers joined with me because they could not get psychiatric care themselves. And therefore, the Ontario Ombudsman undertook a 2-year investigation whereby it ended with 28 scathing recommendations made against the OPP and 6 recommendations made against the Ministry of Community Safety and Correctional Services. Things started to improve within the OPP, but it did take me over 800 days before I could convince WSIB that I should be cared and receive benefits from them. Since that time, I've been treated basically worse than an abused dog year after year, and I now have a complaint in against them through the through the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal. I've put in many complaints before, and I've warned everybody that unless things change, officers are going to die. This summer, unfortunately, my prediction came true, and we had 3 OPP officers commit suicide. Imagine the devastation that this is creating to so many families. And therefore, I complained again that something has to be done. The OPP commissioner has now ordered an internal review of the recommendations from the Ombudsman's report. I'm saying this is crazy. We must have a full public inquiry whereby officers can come forward in a confidential manner. We must have somebody independent from the force to make decisions on what needs to be done and how best to approach it. We have to have the WSIB investigated for their trauma unit, and we must have the OPP system reviewed to see what's going wrong with that also. This cannot continue. I've always said that post-traumatic stress disorder is the loneliest injury in policing, and it need not be. If we work together and we allow time and take the time to make change, I'm sure that together we can have an excellent system. And by the way, I do not want this limited to the Ontario Provincial Police nor to just policing. This must be addressed throughout the first responders in Ontario and right across Canada. So I'm urging everybody to now take a look, stop the abuse of WSIB, insist that we have change within the OPP, and let's move forward, save lives and family devastation. May God bless this great nation of Canada. Oh, yay.